First they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and by then there was no one left to speak out for me. And one of the things we need to look at surely as young people is saying no to the sodding military, not being part of it anymore. And if, as they said in the 60s, what if we had a war and no one turned up? No war. It's because we play a part in the system that is controlling us that the system is allowed to control us. If we will not be part of it, it cannot exist. And people are waking up. People are waking up. They're starting to see in greater and greater numbers what the game is, and they don't want to play, and neither should we. Now that's a great sight. I think that would be very good for the world. What we have to do, surely, is stop being divided by what we don't agree on and start being united by what we do agree on, which is freedom for all of us. I don't care what someone's religion is, I don't care what their background is, I don't care what their bloody genetics is. Doesn't give a damn, they're just all one consciousness anyway. But if we let that stuff divide us, and that's what's happening now. Oh yes, let's turn attention against the Muslims. Let's turn attention against these people and these people and these people. Let's pick them off, and then we'll come for you. Unity is what will bring this to an end. Not looking the other way because it doesn't affect us in the moment. It will affect us eventually if we do that. And that's what people in uniform need to understand. They are policing in a state that also affects them and their children. We get het up, angry, frustrated. We worry about meaningless things. And it clutters up our mind, it clutters up our emotions, and holds us in low vibrational servitude. How many things do we look back that got us really het up, frustrated and angry, and we look back, it didn't really matter, did it? It's bringing this, what really matters. What really matters is loving each other, caring for each other, being kind to each other. What matters is expressing our true magnitude of infinite genius.
Those worlds in space are as countless as all the grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth. Each of those worlds is as real as ours. In every one of them, there's a succession of incidents, events, occurrences, which influence its future. Countless worlds, numberless moments, an immensity of space and time. And our small planet, at this moment, here we face a critical branch point in history. What we do with our world right now will propagate down through the centuries and powerfully affect the destiny of our descendants. It is well within our power to destroy our civilization and perhaps our species as well. If we capitulate to superstition or greed or stupidity, we can plunge our world into a darkness deeper than the time between the collapse of classical civilization and the Italian Renaissance. But we are also capable of using our compassion and our intelligence, our technology and our wealth to make an abundant and meaningful life for every inhabitant of this planet, to enhance enormously our understanding of the universe and to carry us to the stars.
Those guys were in hog heaven out there. You understand, man? They had a big weapons catalog opened up. What's G12 do, Tommy? Well, it says here it destroys everything but the fillings in their teeth. Helps us pay for the war effort. Well, shit, pull that one up. Pull up G12, please. What's G13 do?
Because I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated that our government could lie to us so blatantly, so obviously for so long, and we do absolutely nothing about it. I think that's interesting in what is ostensibly a democracy. Sarcasm. Come on in. People say, Bill, quit talking about Kennedy, man. It was a long time ago. Just let it go. All right? It's a long time ago. Just forget it. I'm like, all right, then don't bring up Jesus to me. As long as we're talking shelf life here, you know. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American gladiators. Watch this. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Here's American gladiators. Here is 56 channels of it. Watch these pituitary retards bang their fucking skulls together and congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
All my point is there's a lot of ways to look at the world. You know what I'm saying? Why pick the way you learn over TV? Because it's usually wrong.
I'm going to share with you a vision that I had because I love you and you feel it. You know all that money we spend on nuclear weapons and defense every year, trillions of dollars, correct? Instead, just play with this. If we spent that money feeding and clothing the poor of the world, and it would pay for it many times over, not one human being excluded. Not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace. Thank you very much. You've been great. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much. You're great.
You guys are great. Thank you very much. Good night.
Maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible. You can be filled with bitterness and with hatred and a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country, and greater polarization, black people amongst blacks and white amongst whites, filled with hatred toward one another. Or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that is spread across our land, with an effort to understand, compassion, and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed, but he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond or go beyond these rather difficult times. My favorite poem, my favorite poet was Aeschylus, and he once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black. We can do well in this country. We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past, but we will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawlessness, and it's not the end of disorder. But the vast majority of white people and the vast majority of black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the quality of our life, and want justice for all human beings that abide in our land.
People ask me, what will work? I say, look at your own life. What worked and what didn't work? When was it good? When did it change? When did it change? So it's about morality. And until the morality comes back, nothing is going to change. There's not going to be a leader that's going to come out riding on a white horse. It's about each individual. It's about you. It's about who you are. What are you doing every day to make your life better and other people's? For me, hell is taking that last breath and knowing that you weren't the person who you said you were.
Martin Luther King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." This is not a case of transformation of the world through stockpiling weapons and division and conflict and let's meet violence with violence, because we'll just be caught in the same illusion. He said also, cowardice asked the question, is it safe? Expediency asked the question, is it politic? Vanity asked the question, is it popular? But conscience asked the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because it is right. And We are trying to change out there, which is nothing more than a mirror in here of our sense of reality. We're out there, we're doing this, we're doing that, trying to change this reality out there. We're never going to do it because it doesn't exist out there. It exists in here and it exists in here. If we come from consciousness. You know, if we want to comb our hair, we don't comb the mirror, we comb our hair and the mirror then reflects that. When we change this, the mirror out there reflects this and the world changes. Jimi Hendrix said, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And I would add this, only when we know who we are can we know freedom. Because how can we know freedom if we do not have the coordinates to understand how free we really can be? Not free of the next tax demand, not free of the next Blair Bush introduced law, not free of, but free in infinite reality, infinite awareness forever, because that's all that exists, now and forever, everything. That's the freedom that we can be and we are outside of this illusion, and that's the freedom we can only know by understanding that's who we are. Infinite love is the only truth, everything else is illusion, and we are at a wonderful time. Years and years ago, I came across this wonderful piece of music. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and the sun. We are the hope that will never hide. We are the turning of the tide. And we are. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.